We have a D-style eave trim. You can see here the overhang so that the panel can clip into it. And just to point out that All American Steel uses a strippable film on all of their trims to protect them against abrasion during transport and during handling during the installation process. So you can work with the trim, and just prior to installation, you can take off the strippable film, protects the paint finish, and respects the warranties. So this piece of trim here is our eave, and you can see that we have an eave that runs into a valley. So I'm going to turn the corner here, and I'm also going to turn the corner here. I always like to make sure that when installing trims that are overlapping, that we have steel on steel rather than a gap where you can see the fascia or the wood behind it. So I'm going to do a series of cuts and folds on this piece, install it, and when we install the second piece of trim, you'll see what a nice clean look that you have. And also it ensures that water flows off the underlayment onto the trim and exits the roof. You want to minimize the amount of precipitation and moisture that hits the wood of the structure. I've finished preparing the two eave trims that join here in the corner of the valley. And when I install this one, you're going to see how the overlapping metal makes for a nice clean join right here at the bottom of the valley. I've finished preparing the rake trims so that we can install them and then install our underlayment over top. We're going to take some close-up shots of where the eave trim and the rake trim meet so that you can see the type of detail that can be done for a nice clean finish. I'm installing the rake trim, and you can see here that I have folded it over and folded around the front so that when you're on the ground looking up at the roof, you have a nice clean overlap. Now installed, you'll notice that the face of this rake trim and the face of the eave trim are slightly offset. That's because they're different lengths. You have the option of ordering eave trim and rake trim, or the face of the trim, so that they meet up perfectly here at the corner, or you can order the same size and do foldovers like you see here. We have a plumbing vent, as you can see here in the middle of the roof deck, and today we're going to be flashing it with a rubber pipe boot. One of the things that's important to note is that when you're fastening the rubber pipe boot, you don't want to be fastening it directly through the metal and into the substrate of the roof, into the wood of the roof. You want to make sure that you cut your hole slightly larger so that when your stitch screws go through the flange of the boot, they engage the metal but nothing else. And that way you don't have differences in thermal expansion and contraction between the wood and the metal pulling at the join between the gasket or the roof boot and the metal panel. I'm going to install the flashing temporarily, make my marks, and cut the roof sheathing so that it's slightly larger than the opening of the pipe flashing. You can see here with the solid black line, I've traced the base of the pipe boot, and I'm now just marking about 1 inch to ½ inch outside of that, which is where I'm going to cut the plywood. And that ensures that when I fasten the pipe boot to the metal panel, that my screws don't engage the wood of the roof deck. We've prepared the roof so that we can start installing the metal roof panel. You can see that we've installed the eave trim on both sides of the valley and that we've installed the roofing underlayment. In the North Country, where we have severe winters with heavy snow and heavy ice, we recommend installing 2 rows of 3 feet each for a total of 6 feet up from the eave, also through the valleys and around any protrusions. The rest of the roof, we've used a non-stick, non-slip, high-temperature synthetic roofing underlayment. And you can see here, if I lift this flap up, that we installed a peel and stick around the plumbing vent, and then we put the non-stick on top of that. That ensures that if any water or condensation does get beneath this underlayment, it rolls out here and onto this section here, instead of rolling down behind the pipe. It's important to note that when you're installing your roofing underlayment, if you're going to install it and roof in the same day, you can use 1-inch roofing nails or staples. If you're going to leave it overnight or for an extended period of time, you want to use capped staples or capped nails. Thanks very much for watching, and if you have any questions, please reach out to your All American Steel rep or shoot us a note through social media.